Hi everyone, it's James here from TSR Jivey Talks Tech. Coming up with a different angle for gear reviews can be challenging. You know, how many times can you say that a pair of speakers or monitors sounds clean or clear or bright and has a nice fat punchy low end? It gets a bit boring, to be honest. So when my buddy at Bigger Boat Distribution here in the UK said, I have a pair of speakers for you to check out, I wasn't that excited, to be honest. That was until he told me that these speakers, or an earlier version thereof, can be found in more studios around the world than even the infamous Yamaha NS10. Go on, take a guess. These are the 50th anniversary 5C active studio monitors, or sound cubes, from Auratone, or as I remember them being called at the last commercial studio I worked in, the Auratones. I'm kidding. The all-important addition here is the word active. You can still buy the passive version of the 5C sound cube, but these ones have a 50-watt power amp built in, which was designed by the team at Pro Audio Processing Geniuses Bettermaker. And if their previous work is anything to go by, we're off to a very good start. The single speaker is still a 4.5-inch, full range, anyone got a pinch of salt handy? Driver. It's pretty much what you see is what you get. They come in two colours, either black, as I have here, or there's a wood finish. Around the back, it's a pretty simple thing. We have the PSU input, a power switch, and a combo XLR jack for the audio input. These things in their various guises, there was even a plastic pair at one stage that clipped together to protect the drivers during transit, have been around since the 70s, and that's pretty much as long as me. And in that time, I would say tens of, if not hundreds of thousands of records have been listened to, if not checked, on Auratones. But why? Because quite frankly, they're not the best sounding speaker ever created. But then again, neither were NS10s. So why, or at least were these things, everywhere? Well, Jack Joseph Puig summed it up perfectly, and I'm paraphrasing somewhat here, but I think you'll get the point. He said, your speaker system may have 6 subs and 8 bass woofers and 12 tweeters, but all speakers have mid-range. Get the mid-range right, and your music will sound great on every kitchen radio in the world. And that's what the Auratones do so well. They allow you to focus on the all-important mid-range of your production. Yes, the stated frequency range might be 80 Hz to 15 kHz, but I can't find a response graph for these anywhere online. It's like this. You don't buy a set of Auratones to check your mix is going to work on an audiophile level hi-fi. You buy them to make sure that your mix is going to sound great everywhere, on every kitchen radio, every cheap stereo, everywhere. 10, maybe 15 years ago, I would have said that the need for a Grotbox mix checking speaker might have been less important, as we all have pretty good hi-fi at home and car audio is amazing now. And then all of a sudden it became popular to listen to music out loud through your phone, which housed the world's smallest speakers. Didn't see that coming, did we? So that got me thinking. These things have been around in some of the world's most famous studios for 50 some odd years. Back then, music was being distributed on vinyl records or listened to on the radio. So I went back and listened to some of the material that was big at the end of the 70s and early 80s. Tracks like I Know Karina by Quincy Jones from 1981, 1970s Fantasy by Earth, Wind & Fire, and the 1984 Body and Soul album by Joe Jackson. And then some earlier stuff like Spinning Wheel by Blood, Sweat and Tears. All of this material I know really well. And do you know what? It sounded great. Far better than some modern mixes, which rely on fancy mixing and processing tricks to sound big. Mastering legend Bob Katz has a list of the top 50 best mastered albums on his website, and I'm happy to bow to his knowledge when it comes to dynamic range and audio sonics. So I played through some of my favourite tracks from Bob's top 50 list, and do you know what? They all sounded more than passable when compared to my Fluid Audio Image 2s or my new IK Multimedia iLoud MTM Mark II monitors. Review to follow. The The Fluid Audio Image 2 speakers, which are these days my main and favourite go-to monitors, have what they call Mix Cube mode, which emulates the sound and tone of the Auratone, so you can check your mix through a single small driver. Kenneth and the team were clearly thinking outside the box on that day. So, opinion time. Do I like the sound of the Auratones? Well, no. Do I think they have a place in the studio? Hell yes, because mid-range is where all the important information is. The details up top and the groove, if you like, is down the bottom. But the mid-range is where the vocal sits, where the lead guitar will sit. That's where all the important stuff is. And that's what these things do so well. Get the mid-range right, and pretty much the rest takes care of itself. Oh yeah, other than a nice big driving bottom end and nice sparkly tops. But get the mid-range right, and at least you'll understand the vocal. So there you go, the not so new, but kind of new, Auratone 5C active mix cubes. They're not flattering, but if you want to get the mid-range right, these little speakers could be the answer. Thanks to Oliver and the team at Bigger Boat Distribution for getting me the Auratones. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, subscribe and do all the normal stuff. It's so important for the channel to keep growing at the rate it's going. But for now, my name's James Ivey from TSR, Jivey Talks Tech, and I'll see you again very soon.